Let's be real. If you've been hiring for any amount of time, you've made a call you seriously regret. We've all been there. And if you're a startup, you know that first hire can literally make or break you. So let's talk about how to see past the polished resume and find out what's really going on. Oh, you know exactly the type. The resume is just immaculate. They look the part, their confidence is off the charts, and you're already picturing them at their desk, fitting right in, just crushing it from day one. But then, a few months down the road, that perfect image starts to crack. And you're left with this slow-burning disaster that's not just painful, it's expensive. So how do you avoid that trap in the first place? Let's break it down. Here's the thing. It's human nature. We're drawn to candidates who present a flawless story. They have all the right answers, they say all the right things, but that very perfection can be a trap, hiding a total lack of real hard-won experience. So how do we actually vet these candidates? We are definitely going to get to that. But first, let's just flip the script for a second, because to understand the perfect candidate, it really helps to know how to become one, at least on paper. And that brings me to our sponsor. Our sponsor, mobilecv.ai, is designed to solve a huge problem in job hunting. It's an AI tool that builds you a job-ready, ATS-optimized resume in about a minute. Now get this, a staggering 75% of resumes get rejected by automated systems, the bots, before a human even sees them. It's wild. Mobile CV uses these professional templates to create a perfectly formatted document that sails right past them. And the best part? You can start with 3 free credits, no strings attached, just to get your foot in the door. Okay, so once you have that amazing resume and you land the interview, you have to be able to back it up. Which reminds me of this one candidate I interviewed a while back. On paper, this guy was an absolute superstar. Strong assessments, perfect background, anyone would have hired him right on the spot. But once we started talking, something just felt off. And that's the thing. It wasn't a huge, obvious red flag. It was just a feeling. His stories were all perfectly tidy, you know? They ended with these neat little lessons, but they lacked the messiness of real, hard-won experience. They just didn't feel lived in. My gut just told me to slow down. So instead of moving on to the next question, I decided to just stay on one project he mentioned. I asked him to walk me through his decision-making process, step by step. And that's when the polish really started to wear off. The further we got from his script, the blurrier all the details became. And then I noticed a little change in his language. His personal responsibility started to get softer. Actions that should have started with, "I did this," suddenly shifted to the much safer, "we felt that." It's a super subtle signal, but believe me, it is a powerful one. So the crucial point came when I isolated that one project and just pushed a little. I asked, what was your specific role right at the point where things went wrong? And that's when he started scrambling. The story got wider, he started blaming circumstances, and the ownership just evaporated. He crumbled. And in my experience, that's exactly what happens later when the job gets tough. We didn't hire him. And that's the key takeaway here, right? A great resume, like the ones you can build with mobilecv.ai, is designed to get you in the room. But once you're there, authenticity is absolutely everything. You have to be able to stand behind every single word. So from that experience, I actually developed a simple method that I call the pressure test. It's just a way to systematically dig beneath the surface of a polished story and find out what's really there. Here's how it works. First, you isolate. Don't jump around, pick one significant project from their resume and stay there. Second, you walk through. Ask them for the chronological, step-by-step process, not the polished summary. Third, and this one is key, you probe for failure. Zero in on a mistake or a setback. Every real project has one. And finally, you just listen. That's it. Just listen. Are they taking ownership or are they shifting blame? That last step, listening for ownership, is where you get the most valuable data. You're listening for the huge difference between a candidate who defends their ego and one who actually reflects on their experience. So this is what you're listening for. Red flags are all about defending the ego. They might get defensive, the story becomes vague, they start blaming other people or circumstances. Green flags, on the other hand, are all about reflecting on the experience. You'll hear humility, you'll hear clear ownership with phrases like, "I made a mistake when," and you'll get those messy, specific, lived-in details. That's the gold right there.
Okay, here's a quick pro tip, and it's something companies like Amazon and Google swear by. When you're the one asking all the questions, you're so focused on what to ask next, you're not fully observing the candidate's response. Having a second person in the room whose only job is to listen and observe can catch all those subtle cues you might miss. It's a game changer.
Now, this all leads to the single most important mindset shift you can make in an interview. For the longest time, I used to think my doubt was just a discomfort to push through, a sign that maybe I was being too cautious. I was so wrong. Your doubt isn't just a feeling to ignore. It is the data. It's a signal from your intuition, honed by every hire you've ever made, telling you that something doesn't add up. So don't dismiss it. Treat it as a flashing light telling you to dig deeper, to apply the pressure test, and to get the clarity you need to make the right call. You know, in the end, hiring isn't about finding a flawless person or avoiding mistakes entirely. That's just impossible. It's about conducting a really rigorous process so that you can stand behind the decision you make, knowing you did everything you could to understand who you were really bringing onto your team. So, I'll leave you with this. The next time you're in an interview and you feel that small disconnect, that little bit of doubt, what will you do? Will you just move on to the next question, or will you treat it as data and start digging? That choice could make all the difference.